So very good morning to one and all. So once again, welcome to VLSI design class, the 5th unit of the VLSI design class. So in the previous class, we discussed about Xilinx 4000 series structure, that is the CLB advantages, FPGA advantages, and also 4000 series CLB block diagram, the CLB block, and also a dedicated carry logic. Okay, a dedicated carry logic, which of the Xilinx 4000 series we discussed in the last class. Now, today's class we are going to discuss about IOB, that is the input output block of the XE4000 series. Okay, this is the, now just observe here, this is the block diagram of XE4000 series IO block. Okay, so basically this shows, in this case, the IOB, this block, this circuit is the IOB block of the XE4000 series. So here the IO pad, these are the input output pad. We can call this the pad. IO pad are connected to one of the input of the IC package. Okay, this is the only one CLB IO block. So this point will be connected to one pin of the IC package. Through this, an external signal, the external inputs can be given to the logic cell. Okay, through this we are going to use. That means we can consider that this is the both input pad. It behaves like a output pad also. Okay, it behaves like input pad as well as the output pad. So therefore, by using this pin, the external inputs given to the logic cell and the logic cell output can be taken to the external output. Okay, that is the function of this pad. Okay, this is nothing but one pin. You can say that. So this pin can be considered as the input as well as the output. Okay, so therefore, to use this cell as input, to use this cell as an input, okay, the input, that means we are having the buffer here. So this tighted buffer should be in the high input stage. Okay, so whenever we can use this input, this one will be behaves like input pin. Then this buffer is always in the high state. Okay, high impedance state. Whenever we can use the cell as an output state, okay, when the cell is the output state, output pin, so this buffer must be enabled. Okay, this buffer must be enabled. When it is out high state, so this pin can be considered as the input cell input, and when it is enabled, it can be used like a, this pad can be used like a output pin. Okay, just remember, right? And also the input and output values of the values can be stored in the IOB. Okay, that means that whatever the inputs and output values will be there, they are stored in the flip-flops. Okay, in this flip-flops. Whenever we require some direct input, okay, whenever the inputs are required, you can get the input directly from the input, or whenever we desire the flip-flop can be, whenever the direct input is required, this flip-flop will be disabled. Okay, this flip-flop will be disabled in this case, right? Now let us go for the input-output pad as a, let us consider the input-output pad as a output. So already we discussed, whenever you can consider this output pad, this pad is the output, so this must be enabled. Okay, that means the out signal is coming from, basically the output signal is coming from the logic cell, first goes to the exclusive OR gate. Okay, the output signal is first go to the exclusive OR gate, and depending upon the invert output, and so that means depending upon the out invert bit. Okay, we are on the out invert bit here. Okay, depending upon this invert bit, it is complemented or uncomplemented. Okay, depending upon this output bit, we are having the output of this exclusive OR gate will be inverted. This output will be inverted or uninverted. That means when it is logic 0, we get a same output. Whenever logic 1, output will be inverted in this case. Okay, and sometimes the output signal will be stored in the flip-flop also. So the output signal will be stored in the flip-flop. Sometimes we require the output signal must be stored in the flip-flop. So either the output, that means in this case, output signal or output of the flip-flop it must be passed to the buffer stage through the multiplexers. Okay, whatever the signal, it may be direct signal. So from this directly you will go to the buffer, or the output, what are the stored signal, just go to the buffer through this multiplexers. Okay, that is the multiplex. That means you store it when depending upon this output selection line. So we can select the whether it is a stored signal or otherwise direct signal. Okay, so that is the main thing in this case. And whenever the buffer stage having the basically when it is logic 1, okay, if the 3-state signal is logic 1 and 3-state inverter bit is 0. So in this case, what happens is the output buffer has basically having the high impedance state. Okay, depending upon that means here this is the when this signal 3-state, this is the 3-state inverter signal, and this is the signal when these two are be high state. So what happens will be goes to the 0 state or 1 state. Depending upon that, we can check the value here. Output buffer will be high impedance state otherwise the output signal can drive the output signal through the pad. Okay, otherwise when this is not a high state impedance state, so this signal will be drive the output pad. Okay, IO pad. That is the main thing. Similarly, this is about the IO pin. Okay, IO pin as an output. Now, if you consider the IO pin as an input, so what to do? So it must be high impedance state. Okay, when this pad behaves like an input signal, so then the output signal will be we can bypass here. That means we are going to make it as a high impedance state. That means to use the IO pad as an input, okay, the output buffer should be, and this output buffer should be in the high impedance state. Okay, high impedance state. So in this condition, an external signal coming into the IO pin, IO pad goes into the buffer. Okay, goes into these buffers. Okay, from this buffer, the signal can be directly fed to the logic array called direct input, and also the output will be buffered to the D flip-flop. Okay, the signal will be goes to the D flip-flop. Okay, D flip-flop, that is the signals now in this case. Right? So like this, we can consider the pad can be either input side, input and output depending upon the buffer condition. Right? So next, similarly, we are having here, just observe here, we are having slew rate. Okay, that is SR, slew rate, SR, we can call it SR sometime, SR bit. So this controls the rate at which, basically this controls the rate at which the output signal can be changed. This controls the rate at which the output signal can change. When the output drives an external device, okay, when the output drives an external device, reduction of this SR is desirable to reduce the induced noise. Okay, that is the case. When the output drives in any external devices, so the SR, the reduction of the SRC is desirable in order to reduce the noise signal. Noise that can occur when the output changes rapidly. When the output will be changes rapidly, this condition will be required. So this is the function of the SL rate. Similarly, we are having pull up and pull down signal. That is the pull up bit and also the pull down bit. We'll discuss now in this case, right? Not only these connections we are having, and so you're having some tri-state controls in this case. That is, your another condition is the global set and reset containment line. Okay, the global set and reset line, it can be programmed. So by using this global S and R, we can program each flip-flop either set condition or reset condition. Okay, the flip-flop will be in the set condition or in the reset condition. This flip-flop and this flip-flop either set or reset depending upon this global SR pin. Okay, And similarly, we are having pull-up and pull-down resistors. Pull-up and pull-down resistor. This is the pull-up resistor. This behaves like a pull-down resistor. Okay. So these pull-up and pull-down resistor both are available in the which are available in the 4000K series. Okay. And also it contains sometimes it also contains some extra that is this is not available in the 3000 series FPGA, but it is available in the 4000 series. That is this block. So basically, it contains the logic for boundary scan testing. It can be used for boundary scan testing. That means it is the one way of testing the circuit. Okay. So this is the main logic we are having in this case. This type of this is another advantage of the 4000 series K compared to the 3000 series K. But the 3000 is not in our syllabus, but it is the series we are going to use now in this case. Similarly, so all these X series, that means we are having, there is a 4000 series. So the advanced version in this case is 4003 series. Okay, this is the minimum series. So depending upon this 4000 series, we are having, already we discussed the number of gates and the number of CLBs required here. Similarly, we are having XC 4003 series consists of 100 CLBs and 3000 gates and 80 input outputs, IO pins, and 360 flip-flops and 45,636 configurable data pins, data bits we are having. So these are the different advancements in this case. Okay, like this, as you goes on increase the technology, so these values will be goes on increases. So up to in the 4000 series, because this is the most widely used in this case. Okay, that is about Xilinx IOB, Xilinx 4000K series in this case, right? So in the next class, so we can go to the Altera 10,000, okay, series FPGA, okay. So what time?